welcome to OSG Live, where we inspire you to fall in love with your business. Get set to join your hosts, Tanya, Becky, Kylene, and Aaron for your weekly motivation. It's time to share your wins, express gratitude, and choose positive changes. Jump into the comments and share your thoughts with the rest of the OSG community. Coming up, OSG Wellness Super Tools to nourish your mind and body, small business success gems to uncover hidden gems of business excellence, and the uncommon mindset to challenge the status quo. Your journey to success and happiness starts now.
Hello, good afternoon. It seems so weird to say good afternoon.
It does. It does feel weird to say afternoon, doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm Tanya Deutscher from Gracie B. Doodle Designs.
I'm Becky Kutzer with BK Custom Tees.
And I'm Kylene Montgomery with Rise, Shine, Smile Yoga.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group, and we are here to help you guys fall deeper in love with your business while we do the same with ours. And excited, we are hanging out in the same room here. So
hope they don't fight today.
Yeah, exactly. She's got shoes on, I don't. So if you see, if I say something, I'm in trouble. All right. Well, Kylene, where do we start this out?
Well, let's start with our superpower. It's with gratitude. We all have access to gratitude. It is something that we can choose to do, because when we're in a state of gratitude, when we're truly appreciating the things that we have in our life, we're in a state of abundance, and therefore we attract more good things to us. We raise our own vibration, and then we just, it's like a ripple effect. It attracts more good things back to us. It inspires other people to evaluate their life and appreciate what they have. It just has lots of good energy. And so we want to bring as much energy as we can to our show today and to all of you. So we're going to start with some gratitude, and I can start with my gratitude. I am extremely grateful for technology, for being here. I know I just had computer issues and I had to come down here, but just being able to connect with all of you, even though we all live in different states and all of our listeners from different states, it's just really awesome to have this community. So that's what I'm grateful for today.
Tanya, what about you?
I am grateful for tapping. Becky and I went ahead and tapped this morning, and it was just a really, really good tapping meditation. And it just set the tone for today. And it was a welcome change.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I'm going to follow Kylene a little bit, because I was going to say I'm thankful and grateful for Google. Because today I was trying to figure out a few things. I knew part of it. I had part of it. I think I actually had it figured out before I went to it, but I was just looking for a little bit further confirmation on how to do something. And I'm between that and ChatGPT. It got me where I needed to be. So I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome. Well, I'm grateful for all of the community, the people that are surrounding us. Obviously, the Fab Four here. Michelle says, "Good afternoon, Fab Four," and then we've got Karen Pickering joining. Greetings, and Mo. Good afternoon. Great to have you along as well. So I'm just grateful for all the people. We've been having some really great discussions over in the Fall in Love with Your Business Facebook group. Tanya did an awesome live on Mother's Day, and Becky asked us what we were thankful for on Friday. I've been trying to post some reflective questions that I've just been going through myself personally and shared out there. And man, I'm blown away at how everybody's engaging and interacting and sharing their thoughts. So I'm just so grateful to have that opportunity to be part of this tide that's going like this, right? So it's been pretty awesome to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you guys are listening and you want to share what you're grateful for today, please do that in the comments.
Yep. Yeah. We'd love to hear your gratitude and because it is that, right? I do get to be the last one of the Fab Four that goes. I somehow worked that out conveniently and I get to borrow from all you guys, right? So I was reading through Becky's post over there and fall in love with your business group over there about, what the things that you're grateful for. And I remember Dottie saying, faith, family, and friends. And it's just super awesome to go through those things and lift each other up. So Karen says, I am super grateful for selling a last minute cover story for our magazine.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
yeah, very cool. So Karen is actually a friend of mine, and she's also a fellow success principal trainer. She's working on her certification, and she has a magazine called Northwest Horse. Maybe I've got that wrong, Karen. So, but she's got a magazine that she's been doing for years and years and years. So, any of you horse folks out there, Karen's somebody to know for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we dive right into the wellness toolbox? I'm going to see if I can still drive, and then instead of me putting you on camera, I'm just going to like duck out, kind of like do the little stair walk thing.
It works.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready for this?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Readjust here.
If you hear jingling, Asia is turning in circles. Eventually she will land, but I think she's gone around like 50 times already.
Oh, she's got to find the perfect spot.
Oh, she dropped. Okay.
We're good. I didn't hear anything, so.
Oh, good.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to talk about our topic, even though when you think about it, it's not like super positive. It's good to be aware of it and know the signs and know ways to overcome it so we can manage and keep moving forward. So we're going to talk about ways to manage our busyness so we can prevent burnout and overwhelm and those negative feelings that happen as a result of that.
Mm-hmm. And it's very timely for me because I wasn't recognizing any of the signs, and all of a sudden it was just like blam, there it was. And so I've had a couple weeks of some struggle busing.
Yeah,
but it's all good. So I was excited when you brought this topic up. So
yeah, because it happens to all of us.
Mhm.
And sometimes it sneaks its way in. I know for me, the last time it really hit me was when I left the VA. I guess it's been 5 years ago was when that happened.
Mhm.
When I came home, I just didn't have anything left to give. I was so exhausted. I started getting jaded. I started just getting really irritated and looking for the bad, looking for the problems instead of looking for solutions with that growth mindset. I was stuck in all the things, right? And then you attract that to you. So it was just, the coworkers that I was spending time with, the energy I was putting out was giving me more of what I didn't want.
Yes, and I've been doing a bit of that as well. And when I really sat down and I'm like, okay, what is going on? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing everything that I tell people not to do, and I did it unconsciously. It was just like slipping back into some old habits. And so to be intentional about, how to move forward and things like that has been the key. And to actually prioritize myself, it was the first thing that went. It's the first thing that needs to come back, because I can't give and I can't do anything well if I'm not putting myself first and filling my cup. So
Yeah, I think you bring up that's just a perfect example. Is sometimes the first thing we give up are those habits that we put in place that's allowing us to continue to thrive. But the really cool thing about this is that it happens to all of us, but you became insightful and aware, and you put your tools back in place because you know how powerful they are. And so that's why we want to share it with you guys. We're in, what is it? Middle of May already. So if you're working on any big goals, and time's just going by fast. So it's good just to check in with yourself and see how you're doing. So this doesn't impact you in a negative way. We can get through this. And
absolutely.
yeah. So we want to share some tips for you guys.
All right. So number 1, prioritize your tasks. Identify your top priorities and what tasks will have the most significant impact on your goals, and then focus on those. I was doing a ton of different things, trying to multitask. Multitasking does not work, by the way. And I was just getting very, very frustrated and jaded about everything. Focus your time and energy on these critical tasks and tackle them first, and then you feel better about things. Before I left my house today, I think Jay thought I was on something because he's like, "What is your issue?" I had 3 bags to go to donation. I had started laundry. I had cleaned up the kitchen. I had done a couple of other things. And he came out of the bedroom. He's like, "What is wrong with you? What's going on?" So that's kind of where I was with that. And Becky said, yeah, set your fun 5 each day, your fundamental 5.
Yes. Oh, I have to put this up. Jerry's here.
Jerry.
Hey, Jerry. And then Kim was here too.
Hi, Kim.
Good to see you. So I like what you said though, like you were inspired and you were energized this morning and you put your priorities that needed to get done, and then you had that positive feeling. It's almost like a little high you get when you're you're moving forward and you're creating that momentum.
Yep. And then, you can go and you can tackle the next thing. And so I actually got a lot of stuff done at work today too. And it was a good feeling for a change, because the last couple of weeks, I feel like I've just been, hitting a brick wall all the time. So
yeah. Well, awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. That's great. The other thing you can do is set clear goals. We all know what it feels like where you're kind of moving forward, but you're not really sure. You're just kind of almost going through the motions. When you set clear goals that are specific and then measurable, the outcome that you're striving for. You tend to show up and do the things that are going to matter to achieve that goal. So really take the time. I know this has always been one of my areas that I can struggle with, just really getting clear. I love to be general sometimes, and Aaron's really helped me get more specific on my goals, because it does help, because then your message is more clear. What you're doing is more intentional. There's all those wonderful things that happen as a result of that.
mm-hmm. I'm still working on my goals and becoming clear, because I'm actually changing some of them, and it's scary. It's almost like I'm on this cliff and I just need to jump. I need to like take a lesson from the Tough Mudder and just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
for sure. Yeah. And I think that's okay. It's okay to adjust your goals too, because that means that you're letting go of maybe what's not working, so you can keep moving forward to what is working. Looks like we have another comment on there. Mo wrote, multitasking burnt me out without me realizing it. I became irritable and unhappy. I'm thankful for my husband telling me to slow down. He said, if it doesn't get done, the world will keep turning. I like that.
absolutely.
It's so
Absolutely.
true. Yes. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is the people around us that can see it first before we do. And for me, that was the case when I had that moment 5 years ago. Aaron sat me down and he's like, we gotta figure something out here. Cause I wanted to hang on to what I knew and was comfortable with. But now going back, I have a completely different mindset, and I have these tools in place so I can become aware of my actions, my thoughts, and how I handle everything moving forward.
Yeah, and having those realizations, those tools, is very helpful. Even if you're not realizing what you're doing right at first, it becomes like, oh yeah, I'm missing some things here.
Yep.
So, the third thing, sorry, Franny's joining me. Practice time optimization. Once we understand our priorities and have very clear goals.
Hello. I'm used to seeing Asia Grace, not Franny.
I know, I'm not sure what exactly is going on here today. Then we have to get the most out of the time we have available to us. Time blocking. I'm not sure what the Pomodoro technique is. I've heard of it, but I'm not. Do you know what that is?
I do. Aaron, if you want to jump in here. No, you don't.
chunks.
Just small 20-minute chunks of time.
Okay.
For working on things. Yeah.
Gotcha. I knew kind of, yeah. Time blocking has worked really well for me in the past, and it's something that I know I need to get back to.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Those power intentional moments that you can just focus on one task. You can get a lot done.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The next one, number 4, is learn to say no. This is no is a complete sentence. No is something that is very empowering. We do not need to feel bad if we say no.
Exactly.
And for someone who likes to help others all the time, this is something for me to remember, because if you say yes to everyone, you're really kind of spreading yourself so thin that you don't have enough to give to any one thing, and you don't show up the way you need to for yourself and for the things that are important to you. So just remembering it's okay to say no, and we can say no in a positive way. No, this isn't the right time for me. That works. Or, at this point in time, I'm focused here, so it doesn't really fit right now, but maybe in the future, or that's just not really the direction. Or and then there's always something you could throw in there, but I know this person who could maybe help you, or something like that you can turn it into something still productive. But saying no is a good thing.
Absolutely. And it took me a lot of years to figure that out.
Most definitely. Yes, it's still work in progress for me too, but I'm getting better at it, and it's becoming more comfortable.
Yeah. Number 5, embrace focus. Multitasking might seem like a way to get more done, but it leads to decreased productivity and increased stress. Practice single tasking, devoting your full attention to one task at a time. Maybe set a timer for 15 minutes. I'm going to work on this for 15 minutes and then go do something else and come back. I did that with a big project that had a full front, sponsors on the back, and then needed names. And the screen printing all went, really well, but the putting the names on was very repetitive and just was driving me crazy. So I would do it for 20 minutes, go take a break for 20 minutes. And I just went back and forth until it was done. And it was a much better way to get it accomplished.
Gotcha. Yeah. It looks like we have a comment here, so I'm going to put that up here real quick. Karen wrote, I think men are more linear thinkers. I think at times it's easier for men to set goals than us as women. I think as women, we tend to go with the flow, and we're caregivers. We tend to care for the needs of others before our own. I think there's definitely some truth to that. But it's not something we can't do. And so we just have to be more intentional about doing it. And so being open to that feedback, set your goals, whatever they look like, and know that that's okay. And then maybe you just need a little feedback to get it to where it is clear for you. But yeah, I like that perspective. We all do think differently, and that's what's important in the world, right? We need different thinkers. That's how things happen and things grow. And then Karen wrote, agreed, we can do this. Yes, awesome.
Yes, we can.
And just looking at the time here, Tanya, I think we might need to come back next week with the next 5.
I think that's a great idea.
So we can bring the rest of the Fab 4 back at their perspectives and stay on track. But yeah, there's some more 5 more tips that we would love to share with you guys. And it's just really becoming aware of this. And, these are little things that we can do and implement in our life. And it will really help us get through those stressful moments. Overwhelm happens to all of us. Burnout happens to all of us. It's the universe, it's the world, whatever you want to call it, telling us, okay, we need to let go of something and refocus. So yes, I love that.
And sometimes it's just that something needs to change. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And not wanting to do it. I think doing the next 5 next week will be amazing.
Awesome. Yeah. And change is hard for us, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's required for our growth, and we can do it with the right people around us, right, Tanya?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, let's get the rest of the Fab Four back. Oh, okay. Hang on, Becky. I'm getting you.
Yay,
But
I'm
now-
back.
Yes.
All right, Becky, what do you think?
Well, I actually got to stay for the whole segment because I didn't have to run in for the kids.
Yay.
Although Cora should be bopping in before too long because she's
Awesome.
still at Bio Girls today. But I put up there the fun 5 that I can tell on the days when I don't do my fun 5 in the morning. The last couple days are those. I have only a couple written down, which, I mean, some days I do end up only writing down a couple based on how big the projects are. But I know the last couple days I was not very good about making that fun 5, and I kind of got stuck on a few things. So making that fun 5 for me is really setting my day up, and that's what tries to keep that overwhelm at bay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I obviously think that this is a topic very, very crucial. I mean, I went through the same thing just this last week and the week before, right? I've had a couple of days where it's just like the list was so overwhelming that I let that get in the way of productivity. And the reality is, going back to what you say, Tanya, right? We just get to choose something different, right? Unfortunately, there was no like magic bullet. Yeah, I went back to being intentional, but there wasn't a magic bullet and I did this and all of a sudden, rainbows and ponies again. I love saying that, by the way.
All the things.
All the things. Yeah, there you go. But the reality was, in a way, that was a magic bullet. I just woke up and said, you know what? I'm not going to let that happen today. Right. I'm going to get back to the, fun 5, fundamentals 5. Right. And because even though my sheet the day before wasn't complete, or maybe I missed it a day or whatever, it wasn't about beating myself up for missing it. It was about saying, I've got an opportunity to do better now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that was what was really cool for me. So Darren says burnout is a real thing, that burning the candle at multiple ends. Right. And
Absolutely.
yeah. And just really quick on that one, Darren, I think, again, it comes down to when you talked about, what was it, prioritizing your tasks and setting clear goals and stuff like that. We end up burning the candle at multiple ends because we're trying to chase everything. Right. And what, I can't remember the exact quote, but you've got to say no to the good so you can say yes to the great.
Yep.
And that's hard. It's really hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're when you surround yourself with good people like we do, you are flooded with opportunities. People want to help you. People want to give you opportunities. And we want to then say yes to all of that, right? Because because if we say no, then we feel like, oh no, we're not going to get any more opportunities. But that's not true. So, all right. Kim says, I like that even the Fab Four have to get back to it sometimes. We have to get back on track at some point. Right. And Kim does also like the time slot. So
I see. I love
not
that.
a 7 a.m. And it honestly is probably better for everybody. And then real quick on Karen's, if somebody's got I don't have the mouse in front of me. So, Karen said, so actually, Karen, these are typically an hour. We try to keep it right at about an hour. We do 2 segments. So Tanya and Kylene here do the wellness super tools, and always fantastic stuff. And then Becky and I try to follow that up and try to be as good as we can. Maybe not always as great as them, but we have the Uncommon Mindset, which is coming up in just a moment. So, okay. Anything else that we needed to cover on that? Let's see if I can.
I think it's important because one of the things I was struggling with is showing up here when I'm struggling, and really talking to myself about the fact that, okay, this is an opportunity for me to show people that I don't have it all together, not even close, but I can go back to the tools and start to get back in that space again. So I am always going to be transparent, probably to a fault. And it's been rough, but it's getting better. And part of it was coming back to the tools and a lot of these things and remembering, okay, I've got this one thing at a time. It's when I do the Queen of Chaos thing that I really struggle.
Yeah. And I think that's so important, Tanya, that you're leading us in that, right? In showing up when we don't feel like it. Right. And I go through the same thing. Right. And I'm the one preaching it all the time to lean in. And, I like, Karen had mentioned, right? Men think a little bit differently. We want to go hide in our cave, right? I want the old caveman shows up, and I want to go hide from all the scary animals. Don't step on my toe. I'm kidding.
I don't know. We're gonna have to get a computer fix pretty soon. I don't.
Yeah, real quick. I'm not gonna
together. Gonna last much longer. It'll be a different kind of show.
I won't survive it. But the reality is that we all go through that, and so it is really a matter of everybody's showing up. When in doubt, lean further in. Follow Tanya's lead here. Be authentic. Be open, and get in there. So, good stuff.
Kim's comment here too. It does help knowing we all have some struggles now and then, and I think that's important to realize that even though you aren't seeing the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, obviously, my area right back here is fantastically organized and looks happy. The rest of the office does not look like that. So, appearances can be made. And I think that's something that is important to realize that, when you're scrolling Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or all the things that, what you're seeing is just a small itty bitty segment of what is truly happening. And we have to remember that that's not always reality for everybody. So
are you saying I need to come visit again?
Oh gosh, if you would. Could you take a week? Because then we could tackle the house too. Because yeah,
I love it. All right. Well, hey, you guys, I want to share one more time here. I know you guys have probably heard it, but maybe we got some new folks in this afternoon time slot. Fundamentals Live is coming up. It's happening. We've got people coming from as far away as San Diego, Nevada, Montana, Minnesota, South Dakota. Thank you. St. Louis. No, wait. St. Peter's, all 5 minutes away. But no, so this is a really, really cool opportunity. We've all been talking kind of in the background. This is going to be special. This is going to be unique. I don't think we're going to be able to recreate this again the way that we're doing it this time around. So I know that there's things and there's events and stuff like that. Totally get it. And so I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just saying, if at all possible, this is something that you want to check out, that you want to try, reach out to me, reach out to one of the rest of the Fab Four here, and just say, hey, I'd love to try. Here's the challenge that I've got right now. Right. So anyhow, let's just hear a quick word about it. Then we'll come back and we'll get into the uncommon mindset right after that. Okay. You are a business owner. Congratulations. Is it what you had imagined or hoped for? Do you love what you get to do? Or does your business feel like you have to each day? If you're ready to let go of what's holding you back, simplify your business, enjoy confidence in your future, and start earning what you deserve, join the OSG community in St. Louis, Missouri on June 7th and 8th. Transform your business, implement the fundamentals, and leave in full motion of your plan to fall back in love with your business. Go to osg.link/funlive. You'll see significant progress faster than you think. Why? Because we strip your business down to the foundation, equipping you with the tools for accountability. No stress, no pushing, just fun. It's time to break the cycle of overwhelm. Join us June 7th and 8th, just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Visit osg.link/funlive. We will see you there. All right. the girl with the glasses. I love that one. That was my favorite part of that. So anyhow, like I was saying earlier, though, you guys, if there's something holding you back and you really want to be there, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Reach out to us. Let's get creative. That's what we're all about, is finding solutions. Honestly, that's what we're going to work on during these 2 days is finding solutions. So we do fall in love with our business. So why not start now? Reach out to us. We'll find a solution. We'll figure it out. And we just want you guys there. And this is going to be, again, life-changing for me, for sure. I know. So I'm hoping that you guys feel the same way.
Still looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Well, Becky, are you ready for some uncommon mindset here?
I am.
All right, let's do this. All right. Well, welcome into the Uncommon Mindset here. Let's dive right in, Becky. We're in our 4th week here of talking about limiting beliefs. And, we, when you think about limiting beliefs, right, you kind of go, oh, yeah, limiting belief, right? But there are several varieties. And I think it was important for us to kind of break down the varieties a little bit, just because
Mhm.
you got to think about them all a little bit differently. Like we all have these limiting beliefs, but we all have different perspectives on them. So this week is going to kind of be the ending of this, and we can go back and recap it later if we want. But external validation is what we're talking about, right? And this is really about that kind of need to have something outside of yourself, something external, validate you. Like if something doesn't happen, I can't be successful, right? And we'll get into some of the different mindsets here. But essentially, though, this is giving our power away. Right? We've just handed over any possibility that we have to control our own destinies, because our future relies on something outside of our control from this kind of limiting belief mindset, right? So,
Mhm.
what kinds of things are you seeing where this shows up for people, Becky?
Well, I think it kind of follows in with what I was just saying with the Facebook and the Instagram,
Yeah.
stuff. Obviously, it's you looking at what other people are posting, but what about when you post and, are you checking back every 5 minutes to see how many likes are there, to see if anybody commented, to see if it got shared?
Yeah.
I think you put a lot of power into, oh, nobody saw that, nobody commented, that must mean it's not good.
Yeah.
And, you think about that and it's like, but how many people actually saw it? When we go to
Yeah.
post things on our business pages and put a product out there, and it's like, nobody did anything. But there again, is it hitting, Facebook's algorithms and all the things that happen with that make a difference on that? And yet we let that power of, oh, we didn't get 50 comments, we didn't get
Mhm.
137 likes, or whatever happening. So it's giving away that power to that external force.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So
And we end up saying things, either saying them or thinking them, right? Like sometimes we'll catch ourselves saying them, but I think most of the time we're just thinking this type of thing in our brains. And, I can only succeed if somebody else does this, or somebody else approves of this thing. My significant other has to, right? Like, obviously we want to be on the same page, but at the end of the day, right, like you've got to be the one that's responsible for that success, right? Or another good one, and we're hearing this a lot right now, and heck, I'm hearing this rattle around in my brain too, right? The economy needs to improve before my business can grow, or I can't raise prices until other businesses do, right? Like I'm going to lose business because nobody else is raising their prices yet. Everybody's costs are going through the roof, those types of things. So we start really kind of, again, giving our power away. And Becky, that can lead to some things that go along with that story of it's an external validation
Mhm.
that's needed. So what are some of those things that end up happening when we stay in that limiting belief, or we make that our story, that we're only successful if something outside of my control happens?
I found 4 main ones when I was, working through this with you. And so the first one that showed up big is low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Again, that's that comparison trap happening, looking for that validation on that.
Yep.
The second one was anxiety and depression. If all of a sudden you're not getting the likes, or you're putting all that power into a little button on, on the computer and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
A computer algorithm. Yeah.
yep. I mean, and if that's what you're validating XYZ by, and it's not happening, that anxiety is going to go up and go through the roof, which is going to drop you into a depression,
Yep.
Feeling powerless with
Yep.
that. The other one was relationship problems. Having that dependency on somebody else to validate what you're doing. And this got me thinking, because like I make a design and then I send it to Tanya and I want her to say, yes, it looks good. thinking, okay, I do that because I want her to say, yes, it looks good, but I'm also looking for, some constructive
Yeah.
feedback on it. And really, sometimes it's just like, look what I did.
Yeah.
Not so much the validation, but if you're dependent on somebody else to always tell you, good job, way to go, that kind of thing, you don't have that self-love to then continue doing things on your own. You're going to
Yeah,
be dependent on someone else.
for sure.
And not the last, but the fourth one that I had found was the lack of authenticity. Trying to keep up with the Joneses, just not doing what you need to do.
Yeah,
I guess.
for sure.
So,
For sure. Well, so Becky, can we dig into those 4 real quick then and go a little bit deeper together with that?
mhm.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, because I think those were fantastic. And as I started thinking about them too, right? All those things that you had shared. So let's start with the first one. Go back, low self-esteem, right? And you mentioned that it's that comparison trap. But here's the thing, like anytime we get ourselves in a situation where the story is right, I think ultimately what we're trying to do here is say, question your beliefs, right? Not like question it like it's wrong, question your beliefs as to, let's make sure, right? Like, so the comparison trap, like that's an arbitrary standard, right? Just because, so-and-so's doing it this way, how does that make that the exact right way, especially for you? Right. And so I think, you mentioned kind of sending this stuff off to Tanya to get some, but there's a fine line there, right? I don't think it's necessarily that you're looking for the approval. Well, that's nice, right? It's always great to
Right.
get that. You're looking for feedback. Tanya's somebody that you look up to as a designer. We all do, right? And so having that person to get feedback from, but it also does feel nice. But if that is the only way that you're going to feel successful is if Tanya says this is great, then that's where the struggle becomes. But if you put it out there and maybe someday Tanya's goes, I don't really care for that. And you go, okay, cool.
Oh, she has. And I'm like, but that's the one I liked.
And I think that's what makes then the healthy relationship, right? Is that it's okay to, from time to time, to say, I mean, Kylene and I have conversations all the time, and sometimes she just doesn't agree with me. Now, I'm a stubborn pighead, and so I'll continue arguing with her. But the reality is, she's got to make her own decision. I've got to make my own decision, and so we keep our self-esteem when we don't make it dependent. It's fine to get that feedback, but don't make your success dependent on what that feedback is that you're going to get. So I think that's really important. And then you mentioned the anxiety and depression.
Mhm.
And we've kind of talked about feeling powerless. I put in the notes here, Becky. Some people that have heard me talk about the success principles have heard the formula E plus R equals O. And I kind of adapted that for the fundamentals book to E plus A equals S. And so E is the experience, right? What's the thing that's occurred, the event potentially. And then the A is our actions, right? So it's how do we respond to that? Because what we can control are our thoughts, our actions, and those are the only things that we can really control. And so that's what we have power over, is that A. But then if you add those two things together, the experience plus your actions, that's going to equate to your level of success. Right? So the event does not automatically equate to success or failure. It's how you respond to those things. And I think that's where we can keep control of our power, and that will take the anxiety away. Because if we can know and believe that we do actually ultimately control our outcomes, our futures, again, it doesn't mean that bad things aren't going to happen, but we always have the choice to respond that way. So what's your take on that, Becky?
Yes, I totally agree that when I saw your notes and I saw the E plus A plus equals S, I was like, took me a minute, but I found it. I came up with it. And I agree that experience plus your action is going to determine that success. And I think that's kind of how we're looking at even our fun live that's coming up. We're going to provide that experience, and you're going to have that experience. And while you're there, you're going to take the action. And that's going to lead to your success.
Yeah.
So, and that's, this is why we've been so hard about, not hard, how we've wanted to get that information out so much to everybody, because it's
why we won't shut up about it.
Because it's that E plus A equals S formula right there.
Yeah.
And that's what we know and feel in our hearts that's going to bring you to success. So
100%. All right, cool. And then you did a really good job on all of these, but just real quick on that relationship, bringing up relationship problems. But again, if you're dependent on that pat on the back, whatever it is that you're dependent on from an external person, right? Because at the end of the day, right, if I don't love myself, I'm not lovable, right? Okay. And we're getting deep into kind of relationship stuff per se, but think about that. Like, why would your customers buy from you if you're not even proud of what you're doing?
Right.
I know that's hard to hear, and I know that's hard to consume sometimes, but the reality is you are good enough. You are capable enough. You do have everything that you need. You just have to believe that. And so then what you need to do is start showing up and being engaged in conversations like this and being around people like this. And right. So it's all there, but you really have to take the action yourself, right? We can't do it for you as much as, I have this conversation with mentors, people that are telling me things all the time about, at a certain level, I got to let go of the responsibility, and I have a hard time with that, but I know intuitively that I do. You guys have to take the action. I have to take the action. I can get all this good information, but if I don't love myself first, if I don't go internal first, it's not going to work. So,
right.
Yeah. Anything else there, Becky?
Nope.
Sorry. I just,
Nope.
that part, that one's really, where I get on my soapbox, because I do really care. And it does really bother me sometimes when I watch people struggle and I know that I can help them. Right. So, not that I can help them, that I've seen these things, that I've been given these tools that I get to share with other people. Yep. And so it's not me helping you. It's, yeah. So anyhow, all right. And then that lack of authenticity thing, you kind of mentioned it, right? Keeping up with the Joneses, right? Like, Tanya mentioned earlier, right, where she was like going to be to a fault, right? But she's going to be authentic to a fault because that's her integrity, right? Like, when we're starting to give it away to other people, we have to kind of keep up with the Joneses. Well, if Becky's doing it, I got to do it, Well, I'm not Becky. And that's okay, right? Like, I can be me, Becky can be her, and everything's going to be great. So we kind of lose our integrity, lose our values when we start making it based on somebody else. So I don't know how you see that any differently, but I think that's also so important for us to understand, that it comes back to that integrity and our values.
Absolutely. I mean, just in life, and again, back to watching and scrolling on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, if you're seeing somebody that's super successful, but you don't see the hours that they spent away from their family, or lost sleep over, or maybe they completely lost all their money before they got to that point. You're not seeing any of that part. You're seeing that little itty bitty quip that shows that they're successful. Yeah. And I, that's the part that the keeping up with the Joneses part of, man, I wish I was that. Okay, well, how do you get there?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I love that. Okay. So Kim says, you guys have made so many really great points. I think way too many of us depend on external validation. I'll raise my hand. I have plenty of times, right? And still do today. So we're going to work through this together. And Karen says, nobody else can do your push-ups for you. Right. Yeah. I tried. I was in the Facebook group there, the Fall in Love group. And I was trying to get Becky Breeding to do some push-ups for me. She said she was working with a trainer. I said, I said, could you do a couple sit-ups for me? But apparently that's not going to work. So
didn't seem to work.
Hi, Cora. Good to see you. All right. Well, so should we dive into reframing these then here next, Becky? Yep. Kind of close this out. Okay. Well, I'll start with the first one here then. And so what we talked about at the top was, this kind of idea of I can only succeed if I have the approval of others. if we reframe that and realize that everyone's definition of success is their own, and I will succeed when I stay true to my vision and values, regardless of others' approvals, right? So if you can, when you feel that coming on, like I can only succeed if this external thing check mark happens, that I get that pat on the back. If I can say, you know what, that's their definition of success. I'm going to succeed by staying true to my vision, my values, regardless of others' approvals. So,
Right.
What about the next one, Becky?
So the other, let's see, that we had, what's that?
Sorry.
Sorry. I got lost a little bit.
I got off track there too. So, I can, yeah. So the economy needs to improve before my business can grow.
Yep.
And so, one of the things we can think about is what opportunities can I create for my business to thrive even in a challenging economy, right? So asking yourself questions like, how can I adapt and innovate and remain resilient, right? So I thought this one was interesting because I also discovered and did some research, not just ChatGPT research, actually went in and made sure it was true, that more than half of the companies on the Fortune 500 list all started during a recession or bear market. Think about like the Great Depression. Ocean Spray cranberry juice started in 1930. Right at the height of the Great Depression. And, they're one of the most well-known brands out there. A bunch of brands started during the Great Depression, and others have started so honestly, a down economy can bring opportunities for people that are resilient. So don't think that the economy is going to change, wherever that's at. Right. So reframe that. Yeah. So,
but I think a down economy like that is when people start trying get to be more creative in how they do things, which leads to them actually solving a problem for something that's not working at the moment. So
100%.
That's where I see it. And
I love it. All right.
The next part we had was, I can't raise my prices until other businesses around me do. Well, what unique value do I provide that justifies the higher prices now? And then how can I communicate that value effectively to my customers? But prices have gone up and some of us haven't raised our prices. So there's that too. But, if you're, for me, I create, do custom apparel. Well, it's not an item of clothing that you're going to walk into any big box store and be able to get, because some of them probably, yes, something similar. But usually if somebody's contacting me for that item, they want it last minute, the next day. And I provide that service, or I'm providing that custom one that they want, that they can't get anywhere else. Yeah. And so that's how you do that. How you justify that higher price.
For sure. And exactly what you just said, right? People don't care about the thing, they care about the service, right? And so if you can provide the thing at that service level, then that's where the value comes from. So you would just explain it perfectly there. So, all right. What about social media stuff, Becky? How do we kind of reframe that a little bit?
Well, quality over quantity. And, how can we deepen our relationships, as opposed to just looking for that like or hitting a like on somebody's post, comment or share it. Or Tanya had been really good about this. She hasn't done it in a little while, so now I know she'll start that I'll mention it. But she had been sending messages out to friends just randomly, just as a random comment. You'd get a voice message or even a text message, but obviously a voice message. And we find that with our, we have the communication with Slack. And I can tell in the weeks that I'm just kind of here or there, you get a lot more text messages from me. If I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and showing up like I'm supposed to be showing up, you're probably going to get a video message from me. But
yes, I love it.
And Tanya, we're both hitting it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I've actually done that in the last few days, slow but sure. No,
there you go.
That is just something that I knew she was really good at doing. Creating those relationships with her friends and those that she communicates with and works with. So
yeah. And I think you're exactly right. The how can you deepen the relationships? Because okay, it'd be great if we had a Facebook group that was 30,000 strong or whatever, right? But even in those groups, you go and look, and there's, how many people that are actually engaged in the conversation, right? So I'd much rather just have the people that are engaged in the conversation. And honestly, the algorithms would actually have people that are engaged in the conversation. And so it's about deepening those relationships. And especially when it comes, because social media is a tool for us to engage with our customers. Yes, it's a tool to do some other things too, but for me personally, it's a tool to engage with our customers. And so it is really important to understand that. So,
yep.
And I guess, Becky, from there, it's just kind of a matter of rewriting our story, right? Like, if you think about all these limiting beliefs that we've talked about, and we don't have time to go through all 4 of them, but just go back over the last 4 weeks and you can see them all right there, and probably worth a re-listen, especially to the wellness super tools as well. But just, I don't know, it's kind of doing some personal development, I guess. So,
and we could put the recap of the 4, list the 4 in our group too. And they can check out there, and then they can see where they need to go or want to go listen to. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll even put the chapters. That's a great idea, Becky. So we'll put that in the Fall in Love with Your Business group. So if you are not part of that group, make sure that you go join over at facebook.com/groups, Fall in Love OSG. That will get you in there. But I guess, Becky, to kind of close this up before we bring the rest of the Fab Four back in here, I've got some bad news and some good news. So I know I would normally ask, which do you want first, but I'm just going to peel the Band-Aid off, right? I'm going to give you the bad news. We all have limiting beliefs, period. Right. And I wish I could say that you can just get rid of them all. But it's kind of it's part of our evolution, right? We need to have, the only way for our conscious brain to keep order is it has to have a story to tell. It has to have that ability to have that thing that we're looking at. And so we tell ourselves these stories about what quote unquote reality is. But here's the good news. I said I'd give you bad news first, rip off the Band-Aid. But the good news is these same limiting beliefs actually can be used to our advantage. So over these 4 weeks, we talked about reframing and really kind of managing the limiting beliefs that we carry around with us. And that's going to do wonders for you. Just dive right into that. But I was really, 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 was that enough reallys? I was really fortunate to be shared this strategy. And honestly, at first I blew it off as like woo-woo, silly, whatnot. And it wasn't until, Kylene helped me understand that I was being pigheaded and that I finally went and played full out. But we've kind of discovered this process, and actually I feel like we've done a pretty good job of mastering it, especially with Kylene's kind of yin to my yang there. And so this success principles training that her and I went through, there's a very powerful tool in there. And it's a way for us to go from reframing these limiting beliefs to actually rewriting the stories and turning the limiting beliefs into superpowers. So we took, actually, this was a program that we had used to do a while back, kind of live. And we took the feedback that we got from the program. We used to call it Unlocking Your Potential. And we launched a new program based on that technique called Breaking Barriers. And it has all the value of the old Unlock Your Potential, but with a new safe space and ability to go at your own speed. So if you're a small business owner and you're held back by limiting beliefs, Breaking Barriers is your step-by-step guide to transform those beliefs into strengths. So we've got tools, and those tools are going to help you rewrite the story, and you're going to honestly watch those barriers start melting away. And if you're committed to your success and you do play full out, like I finally gave myself that opportunity to do, through this program, you got lifetime access to it. So all of the tools that you need to keep conquering those old limiting beliefs. And unfortunately, like I said, we all have limiting beliefs, and we're not going to get rid of them all like that. But we can go back and continue to rewrite our stories over and over again. So if anybody wants to check it out, you can go to osg.link/unlock. actually, for the folks tuned into OSG Live here, we did a 25% discount. So just use OSG Live there. It's actually an introductory price. We just want people to have access to this. And so it's really cool. I know, Becky, I think you're going to check it out.
It's on my radar. So it will be done here in the next little bit, because I was looking forward to it. Also, had been waiting for you guys to get it done, and so now I need to get it. I need to have it in my Fun 5, so I'll get that in there.
There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. So go check that out. Darren says, as Aaron knows, this year has been quite a struggle for me. I've had some successes, but I'm confident all the setbacks will lead towards better outcomes this year. Absolutely, Darren. And that's just it, right? That's that mindset, right? Like those struggles are going to be what sharpens you, right? That makes things happen. So, all right. Well, I'm going to hit the button to bring Kylene back in, and we'll hit the button to bring Tanya back in here as well. And we'll just leave everybody here. I'll move people around, maybe. All right. Not going to happen.
We're out of order and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of order. All right. So Tanya, what showed up for you?
This actually hit me square in the face. I had an epiphany that I have not been showing up like I had been on social media and on TikTok. I've been kind of hiding because maybe I wasn't getting that instant approval or whatever. And so I haven't played full out with some of the things that I was doing and need to do. And so I need to take the perspective that I had when I started doing lives and just do it and not care. I need to fly by the seat of my pants because that's what I'm the best at, and go for it.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot there. That was awesome. I think the part that I was thinking about is, the story that we tell ourselves. So when we're having some of those thoughts, you just pause for a minute. The story I'm telling myself about this, and realize it's a story. It doesn't have to be true. So if we can change the story in favor of our success, I mean, imagine what can happen. It's, the key really is believing it is possible for yourself. And so for me, that's what kind of stood out. Well, there's lots that stood out, but I didn't have my notepad to take notes like I normally do. but yeah, I mean, it's really powerful. Realizing that we can determine our own future, that external validation, well, it's nice sometimes, but it's not going to get us to the end goal.
Yeah. And I'm really appreciative that Becky helped us kind of find that happy medium, that balance too. Like, it's not that we're supposed to like shun all, like, hey, yeah, Tanya, I want you to check out this design. What do you think? Right. And we're not supposed to just go, oh, I'm going to do it all. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. Right? It's not supposed to be that. It's about finding that balance in between understanding that we want feedback, understanding that we need feedback, but at a certain level, if you're willing to stay true to yourself, then anybody, like, if all of a sudden Kylene just said, you know what, Aaron, you're this, and I don't agree with that, and I really have that true value that's not true, then, I've got to be okay with that. And I will be, right. But we got to look at that, right? Should that give me a pause to say, okay, am I really living into this value? Right. But it's all about that balance. And so I really appreciate that Becky brought that up in the middle there. That was really valuable, I felt like. So
absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, Tanya, can you put us on ice here?
Absolutely. ICE is inspire, collaborate, and encourage. And from that came choose. I don't have my choose boards here because I came home and I forgot to put them in my bag. But my choose today was to take action and to prioritize myself. I figured out that I have not been prioritizing myself, and I've been pouring into everyone else, and it's not left anything for me. If I pour into myself first, then I have more to give. And by taking action, I'm actually getting things done. I'm so sorry for Annie's being a nut job.
Okay.
I don't mean to be laughing, but Nick has come into the office and he's never here when I'm live. And so he keeps scooting forward. And I'm like, are you going to be on camera? And he's like, no. He's like, are you muted? And I'm like, Oh.
You can join us.
Yeah,
So
come on.
I
Nick.
make a list.
Come on, Nick. You can be in
All right.
camera.
Well,
Bend
what?
down.
And Becky, we'll get your choose. But you guys out there, what are you going to choose after everything here today? What's your choice for the rest of the day, or to start off intentionally with tomorrow? I love that we're at this new time slot, so we can kind of think on it overnight too. But
and all the kids running through this, it's still going to happen. There's no way I'm going to get away from the
all right,
kids.
that's half the fun.
Hey, at least don't have to go make sure they're up.
Yeah, exactly.
Cora came through and re-added just hearts and love to hers still.
Nice.
That's awesome.
And mine, I wrote down before we started anything, it was to be intentional.
Oh, I like
And
that.
of course, Cora always has to draw on mine too. So
Yep. All right. Well, Kylene's borrowing my choose board because hers is upstairs. So I'm blue. I wrote empowered, and Kylene wrote finish. So I'll let you explain.
I need to cross some things off my list instead of them continuing to go on to the next day,
Nice.
I need to finish.
There you go. Oh, there we go. Thank you. I love all the tidbits today. I'm busy in production, or I would just respond more. All good,
Good job,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Go. Yep. Get that production done. I'm going to choose to validate myself. Kim says, thank you.
Way to go, Kim.
And then Karen says, I love the time blocker suggestion. So thank you, Karen. There we go. Tanya, where can people find the choose boards?
Do you have the link?
I think I do. I'm trying to find it. That's how I was hoping.
Like I can't remember it now. I'm all
Where did it go? Well, we'll put it in the. Gosh darn it! I thought I had it in here, but now I don't. All right. Somehow it got deleted on accident. We'll get it back in there, but we'll just look for the link if you guys want one of these. And you do, trust me, it's great. You can even get the little travel ones.
She's got little mini ones.
Perfect. And then also coming soon, I haven't told Tanya this, but that little, where's the 10 things? I'm giving work to Tanya and she doesn't even know it yet. So
I printed it out big.
Okay. Hopefully this can be done in a much cleaner, easier to read way at some point, and can be a product that you can get off of the Choose store, and OSG approved. How about that? they all are anyhow, but
and there will be other OSG swag coming out. It's one of the things that kind of got put on the back burner while I figured out everything, but there's a plan for it to be worked on now.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's all. Yeah, really good stuff over there. So make sure that you get over there to the Choose store, and plenty of good stuff. Who was wearing? Was it Angela? Yeah, I think it was Angela was wearing one of your shirts the other day on a video call.
Yep,
Awesome.
she ordered one from me. So yep.
Yeah.
I am a huge proponent of visual reminders, wearing them, having them on boards, having them hanging, things like that. The visual cues seem to get my attention a lot more. I have a vision board tumbler as well, and that's very helpful for me to be able to see it. Otherwise, I do tend to fall into these abysses that I've been in for the last couple of weeks, and then I'm like, oh, no wonder I'm not paying attention to my cues. So
yeah, there you go.
And I think if we don't keep our goals in front of us for the year, we lose them. And if we never get them made, we lose them too.
Also true. All right. I did just find this link that we could put up there, because you can get to all the links there. So oursuccessgroup.com/links. That'll take you to all the links, and make sure that you get over there and find the choose boards over there. But we will get it into the comments here after we get done on the road. So, all right, you guys. Well, Karen says, thanks so much for a helpful session. Everyone enjoy your evening. Off to do chores. All right, Michelle, back to production, and thank you guys. Great show today. And if anybody has any feedback, it sounds like this is a good time for everybody. So we plan on leaving it here at the 5 o'clock slot for the foreseeable future. So kids will potentially change that someday, but who knows? All right.
Or I may be on the road for part of it if I'm headed to baseball. I haven't seen the schedule yet. So
all right. All good. All right, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.